Hey guys, welcome back. This has been a very exhausting week, guys. As you know, we've received 5 feet of snow. Now in the last video I put up showing the snow in the driveway, I had already snow blowed 3 feet the previous day. That's why it didn't look like 5 feet there at the beginning of the video. But the snow here is just incredible. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. I know some of my viewers from Buffalo, I often hear in the news that they'll get like 5-6 feet, and even in London, Ontario, I've seen that a few times. Way back like 10-15 years ago, they got huge dumpings of snow. We are near some big lakes here and we get the lake effect snow, and that's why we have a lot of snow fall here in the snow belt, the Barrie, Muskoka area. Now in today's video, I want to show you and tell you which parts that I've used the most in the last week with this incredible snowfall here. I'm sure you guys have already guessed it, and if you have, yes, it's belts. I'm going to show you a bunch of belts. I'm going to show you why they blew and how that could have been prevented. So let's get right into this video, guys. All right, everybody, here's a pile of belts from the last week here. I'm going to take the worst belt of the bunch, and you see what's happening with this belt. It's really narrow in one spot. Now this is what I see often with snow blowers, and the reason this happens is we often get snow that is kind of slushy here nowadays. Before it used to be more colder and fluffy, but it'll get slushy, it'll get stuck right in the impeller of the snowblower. I'll show you an example here. So you see that snow here. If you put your machine outside with that snow there, when you go to use it again, that impeller will more likely be frozen rock solid. Then people go to use their snowblower, they don't realize the impeller's frozen. They keep pushing down on the auger lever right here. They just keep pushing. Smoke starts to come out of the belt cover there. And because the impeller's not turning, the belt is not turning as well. So the pulley on the engine is just turning around and around, making this belt get extremely hot. You'll smell some burning smoke. You might even see smoke coming out of your belt cover, guys. And this is what you end up with. Now, if you manage to unseize the impeller and you've got a belt like this, it may or may not work. Most of the time, it'll be a weak auger or weak blowing of the snow. So the augers will turn, but when you hit deep snow, it's not going to blow properly, or it won't even turn at all. And sometimes what I've seen is if the belt still works, there'll be a huge vibration in the whole machine because the belt is so uneven in one spot, as you can see, and it causes that massive vibration. And another reason too why people blew a lot of belts is because the snow, as I mentioned, is not fluffy like it should be. It's kind of wet and heavy, so it puts extra strain on the machine. So if you've had your machine serviced in the fall, guys, don't blame the mechanic for a blown belt. 5 feet of snow in 2 days is just way too much for these homeowner machines. Something's going to break, guys. Just go really slow first gear. Sometimes just grab half of the width of the front of the snowblower to blow it. It's going to be a lot easier on your belt. Here's a bunch more belts here. These are all belts that are burnt in one spot. Some were cracked. The other reason too why I replaced a lot of belts is a lot of people did not get their machine serviced in the fall, so they were going in with old belts, you know, old gas in the machine, etc. So they did end up having a lot of issues. But even if you had your machine serviced, guys, it's not a guarantee that nothing will break when you get 5 feet of snow in 2 days like we did here. This is just insane. And to make matters worse, guys, yesterday the plow in front of my driveway here hit the fire hydrant. The hydrant broke right off from its base. And they've been at this, fixing this hydrant here since 4 a.m. this morning. It is Thursday here, the day before I post this video. They were here Thursday morning at 4 a.m. fixing this. It is now 5 o'clock when I'm shutting down the shop, and they're not even done yet. So that's just another problem I've had to deal with here in the shop. I've kind of got the driveway cleared up. As you can see, there's tons of machines, tons of machines. I've managed to shovel some of the snow off the shop right over here. Just an incredible amount of snow. This is all snow. This is all snow that I shoveled off. It's right up to the window. And there's just a ton of snow blowers in the back here. And what I'm doing is I just got my neighbor's son to help me. We're bringing in 1 or 2 machines at a time, thawing them and going meticulously through them to just kind of get them going again. It's just so overwhelming. I've never ever seen anything like it. There's actually a wood splitter under this pile of snow right here, a brand new wood splitter that was supposed to be picked up on Thursday, the day before the storm. Anyway, I hope the water's back on. It is 5 o'clock here. Anyway, look at all this, guys. Then if you walk in the shop here, there's more machines. I'm exhausted actually because I do all the repairs myself. But I do keep a lot of parts in stock, guys, and that makes it a lot quicker for me. Now, one of the other parts that were very common in replacing were cables. So like the auger cable, the drive cables, a lot of those broke. You know how thin they are nowadays. They're very thin cables like this, about not even 1/8 of an inch, so at some point they will break. When you get a huge dump of snow like we did here, this is when all the things on your machine that were just about to go, that's when they go. That's when they break. That's when they start not working well. So try to keep up with the maintenance on your machine, guys. And I'm saying this because a lot of shop owners who work on machines will get your machine out a lot quicker if you bring it in every year to service. So if you bring your machine in and there's 10 problems with it, you know, cables, belts, drive issue, auger issue, the machine at that point may or may not be worth fixing. So it's kind of like if you go to the office of a real doctor, they prefer if you only go in with 1 or 2 issues because it does get a bit overwhelming and it is a bit harder for them to look at you more quickly. It's the same in the shop, guys. If you bring your machine and there's a whole bunch of issues, don't expect it to be returned to you in a day or 2. My turnaround's pretty quick here, very, very quick actually, because I work 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. I know it's crazy, but I'm stuck at home because I'm a caregiver, so I don't mind doing this. But anyway, if you run a shop, guys, whether you are in a commercial setting or like me, keep yourselves a lot of belts in stock. Drive rings. Drive rings must be the 3rd part that I replace the most. So again, number 1 were belts, number 2 were cables, number 3 were drive rings or friction discs. Those always go. It's just normal wear and tear. It's like the tires on your car. And I got a few front end, auger front ends here, auger gearboxes I mean, with strip gears. So that might have been one of the more major machines that I worked on today, but I did have a lot worse machines to work on. One machine had been left outside, it was an errands. It needed a whole bunch of parts. It was just crazy. Things add up quickly, guys, if you don't stay on top of each thing that breaks right away. Try to get everything fixed right away, and when you go to a shop, it won't seem like it's so expensive and they're trying to gouge you. Most shops do not gouge you. It's just parts are expensive nowadays. And one of the biggest problem that I find as well is people leave old gas in their machines and it destroys a carburetor very, very quickly. The quality in the craftsmanship of the engines nowadays is not like before. Years ago, if you couldn't clean a carburetor and make the machine run good again, you were considered a failure. Nowadays, you just replace the entire carburetor because the carburetor is made with a lot more cheap metals. They corrode so fast if you don't baby them and make sure you've emptied the gas in the spring or put some stabilizer. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I am very exhausted, guys. I'm also a caregiver, as I mentioned, so that's an extra an extra job that I have, which I think is what we should all do if we are in that position. Also, I want you guys to comment what kind of snowblower repairs do you want me to see on my channel. Just comment below, let me know what you'd like to see. If I already have a video on the subject you are commenting on, I will post the link to your comment for that video. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe and have a great day.